Hello and welcome. My name is Natty Cash, and we are back with our playthrough of Asbury Pines. So this is part 4 now. Again, if you're jumping into this video, you want to go and look at some of the earlier videos to see how we got to this specific point. Again, hopefully I don't give any spoilers here as we move forward, but a lot of things are progressing and pushing forward. One of the things was I progressed Mayor Alvin, so now we have the old mayor here. Again, he's got some stats. He's really good at governing, which now with some of our extra characters, I've started to work a little bit more on some of our perks here. So Gavin here has been kind of our big science guy. He's already done the astronomy part. So nature locations are 5% faster. And we're going to then reassign, I think, old Alvin over here. So then he's going to progress through here. He already finished tribal consensus. We got clan coalition. And eventually we'll get some religion stuff too, but that'll take some time. I've got Old Buzz Snow just waiting for us to have enough resources here, which now we can start building. So that'll be a few minutes. We'll get this multi-purpose community center going. But a reminder is, as we take a look through here, is that we now have resources that are in the future. So if I want to then start using some of the experience here, we're going to be using our future experience pool, not necessarily the present day experience pool. So I'm going to bring the sound down just a little bit here. So I think that's a little bit loud. There we go. We'll try that for now. So old Mayor Van Eisen, okay, is over here. We're gonna then he is doing some of our perks here, so I'm gonna actually bring him back and have him live life. But you'll see it won't be pulling from this number here. It's actually going to be pulling from our future pool, which means at some point here we do have to get back to like we've got actually a reasonable amount of barrels and meals, especially we had enough to build the store. So I might now take some time here and switch someone over to start doing this here. Again, this will take some time, but we are going to be able to hopefully progress and open up some of these things about Everly Praedus's murder scene. As I showed last episode, we still have some things here that we don't really know. I don't know if I ever read this here from Pines Hill Park, but I'll read it now. A sea of rolling hills covered in pine forest. Little else but pines grow in these forest barrens, and many have lost their way in them. So let's go take a look here. Well, it looks like we progressed here. We also unlocked Deborah Wolf. What is she good at? She's good at artifacts and governing. We don't actually end up having any artifacts. And as you can see, there actually are some future artifacts that will show up. But I think she's really good. Sorry, she was really good at governing, was it? So I'm going to actually have her come in, and she can start working on this for now until I have somewhere else for her to go. Or we can look at her story. So let's read Old Van Eisen's story right here. ID Day event fallout, updates, news, and guidance. We, the editors, apologize for the brevity of our issues ever since ID Day. National updates have been reaching us via dated radio systems, and our generators can only power a fraction of our printed capacities. Remain sheltered, stock your goods, and observe curfew. Day 3 since Internet Down Day, ID Day, for our everyday lexicons. Cybersecurity leaders have not ruled out terrorist motivations, though national intelligence agencies have confirmed that all nations on Earth have been severely affected. The unthinkable has happened, and our new reality is more dire than first expected. The Internet no longer exists, and any device with Internet capabilities has been rendered non-functional. Pentagon officials traced ID Day to an event in Sri Lanka, where a malware with advanced artificial intelligence rapidly spread across the oceans of our internet and everything it touches. This malware, named Worm 83, is motivated to expand until it destroys all it touches via commands that cause overvoltage in circuit boards, both small and complex. Worm 83's destruction includes everything from our smart devices like phones, microwaves, and coffee makers to massive server farms, factories, power plants, and the entire communications network. Much like for those on the other side of the world, our financial and economic systems remain at a standstill until a solution is found. Citizens are strongly advised to calmly follow the orders of national leaders and their local elected officials. Tomorrow at noon at Asbury Pines Town Hall, Mayor Alvin Van Eysen II will be announcing new community care and control protocols, including the rationing of food, fuel, and various goods. And it looks like he's actually progressed to the next one. So I'm going to, before I do that, there also is an artifact that's shown up. Alvin's megaphone. Now, who can take a look at that? Oh, old Alvin can. So let's have him. He's already blocked there. That we can set him rolling there. And we can take a look at his next story as well. And it also looks like we've got something revealed there too. Van Eysen mandates for Asbury Pines citizens. Mayor Van Eysen has declared martial law under the enforcement of Annis police officers. These Van Eysen mandates are effective immediately and until our state and federal enforcement structures return to normal. 1. Citizens have until July 1st to register their professions and skills to officers stationed at Dory's Diner. Sustainability occupations will then be assigned to each individual. 2. All citizens must relinquish food, medical supplies, radios, and fuel for rationing. Collection trucks will move through the town until July 1st, and non-contributors will have their assets seized. 3. Private firearms are to be turned in during collections. A select team of game hunters will be loaned rifles to replenish food reserves. 4. Extreme prejudice will be used against thieves, unregistered citizens, and propagandists who spread falsehood and raise undue stress in the community. Town council and all other governing bodies are dissolved. The mayor is granted extraordinary powers, and the mayor will reside in Sloan's bunker by Mount Ulysses. 6. No one may be allowed outside of their homes after dark or 8 p.m., whichever occurs first. Observe, obey, and contribute. Now stated as the regional authority. Okay, interesting. One thing I want to point out as we take a look through this is that as you see these characters here, so Danny Pratis and Gavin and Deborah, where everyone else requires XP, they require electricity and plastics to push their story forward. So we can't actually really use the same mechanics as we did. So we're going to have to wait and be able to figure out a way for us to produce these things before we move forward. Now, the next story, though, is Old Buzz Snow, which we could try to do. Let's see where his building is getting. We're about 82% of the way there. I'm wondering if I can pull someone else. Like Gavin is just researching. Well, so is actually anyone here. So, yeah, I'm going to pull I think Gavin's researching. Is that what he's doing? Yes, he's researching. So he's just working on perks. So I'm going to actually pull him in, and he's going to then help do this. And I will remove Old Buzz so we can actually have him move forward. Now, the problem is are we making enough progress in creating enough prestige that enough is coming forward? So this is where then we might start having some log jams, right? So we see that, little bits are coming forward, but we're actually going to be probably pushing this down until it's no longer viable anymore. So let's see if we can maybe push that forward a little bit more. I would have to probably run Pines Hill Park, but maybe I've ran this enough that I can do that. So maybe let's see who I could pull. Wilma's not very good. Everly's a lot better at this. So then let's have her working that to see if we can produce enough of this so that we don't run out. We'll kind of see as this goes. So we're at 22 experience. The problem is that only a certain amount of it actually then flows forward. So we're probably going to run into a situation where things are going to stop for a little bit. But it looks like Gavin is idle, which means this is actually completed. So it's using money and wood, which we seem to have a fair bit, to produce some more food. I think that's a good thing. In the meantime, we're going to have Gavin probably run this for a little bit. So he can run that, and that's going to actually produce pretty quickly, which means we're going to get a lot more of our own food at this juncture, which is going to be useful eventually when we can run these. However, we don't really have enough, and we also don't know how to make computers or knowledge yet. So we're going to have to hold off on that until we get an opportunity to do so. But he can still work at the what is it called? The Unity Recreation Center. So now the town mess hall, warehouse, medical center, and armory. So kind of a big central part into town. Yeah, so we kind of have to wait, and you can see now that old Buzz Snow is kind of stuck here until we have an opportunity to get enough experience for him to continue to chug along, because he has a level 8 in life and living, so he needs at least 8 XP to then kind of move to the next one. So we're going to have to wait for that a little bit. So I'm going to just let this run for a little bit, and then I'll bring you back in once we've gotten to Old Buzz Snow's next piece of story. All right, so we are back here, and we've now gotten to this point here where we've got Old Buzz Snow going. I'm going to kind of let this one run here. It's slow going to produce some XP. I've moved Evelyn back to working just because we are starting to run out of a little bit of resources. Because you can see here that in some scenarios, as we're experiencing right now, is when we're using some of our barrels here, it actually then shows that we have these negative barrels that are showing up because we've used some barrels to do some stuff in the future. So we don't really want this to happen too much. So we're trying to then produce enough where then this balances out again, because we are going to need oil for the future here as well. We also, it looks like we've got something with Alvin's megaphone. Oh, the voice of force. That's been sorted out here. So yeah, let's have him live life here. It's going to be a little bit slow going, and we'll see kind of what happens in the mayor's life here. But let's go to Old Buzz Snow and see what his response is. So, Office of the Sheriff. Mayor Alvin Van Eisen II. It's plain to me that my authority as sheriff is worth pig shit. In fact, I figure I must be the last officer to hear about new community policing matters you all push through. Be that as it may, some folks are straining to survive this new reality, and the tactical goons from your honest program ain't helping. They cause harm and stir up resentment, smashing windows in homes if they feel insulted, beating a father of 3 kids half to death for trying to get emergency antibiotics after dark, withholding feminine hygiene products for favors. Disgusting. These ain't men. This ain't policing. Consider this letter my official resignation as Sheriff of Asbury Pines, not due to my old bones, but due to the fact that I refuse to enforce your so-called laws. Despite Bryce Hawley, Officer Steve Lewis, and Officer Merle Ringgold have enclosed their resignations along with mine. We'll be giving up our badges and guns at Dory's Diner, registering for new occupations immediately, and helping Deborah Wolf keep spirits up and hopes kindled. Do better for your citizens. Rodney Snow. So we see that he's actually retired here. Now, again, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer as this progresses. Let's check in on a couple other things here. We are starting to produce kind of more barrels, and we're slowly producing experience. And the trouble is that we are producing and have a decent amount of experience here, but we're looking for experience in the future, which then is a little bit harder to come by. So slowly but surely, this is going to tick forward, and eventually we can get maybe Mayor Van Eisen's either response to that or kind of what the future holds. Buzz Snow mentioned Deborah Wolf here, but we don't really have enough resources to sort that out yet. Again, we are limited because we still haven't discovered how to make computers or the knowledge aspect to then start producing some of these, but that'll come with time. What else do we have? We have some artifacts here. So again, Sheriff Buzz Snow is slowly working through the murder weapon. We do have Romina working at Everly's Pratis murder scene, and this is very slow going. Like it's only chugging about 0.1%. So we'll slowly reveal these as time goes on. I think the general assumption is that Romina either did it or was somehow involved. It's hard to tell. But yeah, we kind of have to again be in a situation where we're waiting on for all this stuff to progress. I could try to then move Everly back and try to produce some more, but the problem that comes in with that is then we start running out of. We're not using any barrels in the future, but we start going through barrels too much that this starts to become negative. And again, the reason why this is negative is because we spent 400 of this to build, I think, the Uni Recreation Center. And so if we don't have enough left over from our oil reserve, then that doesn't work. Now, I am going to point out, first off, this is an early access build because this number and this number don't actually align. And I wonder if there's something where there's a glitch that's going on here. Because 75% of 613, it says it's oh yeah, here we go. No, it says it's 462, which is absolutely correct. But we've actually spent 400 of that to build this center. So then that's why there's 64. So that's why even though we see this 75%, we've spent some of those barrels in the future, and that's why we don't see this aligning up properly. So, yeah, looks like meals are doing well. Logs, we have a good amount, and money, we have a good amount. We just have to figure out, and this will be revealed later at some point, how we get knowledge and computers so that we can start passing that on to the future to be able to use. In the meantime, we do have some science going on here. So ceramics. So Gavin is moving forward on that. I believe, yeah, we have. So Deborah is then doing some of this governance stuff here. We don't have anyone doing religion at this point, but at the moment, I think everyone else is kind of working into our production scheme here. We are using the old mayor to try to get enough experience points to get to this next step here. So hopefully we can do that. I might have time go by a little bit longer here, and then we can come join in and see what happens with our mayor's response moving forward. And let us return here, because now we've just jumped to another timeline. It says, welcome to Y2K. So it's bringing us to 1999. Pineys. No, their town isn't perfect, but there are plenty of simple things to enjoy. Thursday specials at Dory's Diner, potlucks at St. Francis Church, summer pools at the Recreation Center, and hiking trails snaking through Pines Hill Park to nearby Mount Ulysses. As technology slowly pervades more of life, the internet brings whole libraries to fingertips. There is a hint of optimism shared by the locals. Maybe things will keep getting better. Characters can be assigned to research religions, governments, and sciences that unlock strategic perks, a range of character skill, resource output, and resource production bonuses. So now we're introduced to a third step here of Y2K. So let's then take a look here. So we were introduced 4 new characters here. Young Sheriff Buzz Snow, right? So we had Sheriff Buzz Snow, young Sheriff Buzz Snow. We've got young Alvin Van Eysen II. And again, you see here, his story progresses with ideas, not with experience. We see, I'll scroll over, I think it's supposed to say middle-aged Romina Zappa. So we have her here as well. And then we have young Danny Pratis showing up here. So 4 new characters showing up. Now, that was all due to, if we scroll over here, the old Mayor Van Eysen II's little story here. So let's take a look here. Maybe in the meantime, we're going to set some things up, and then we'll read that, and that... Actually, you know what? Let's just read it here, and then I can do some of that off camera. Lieutenant Major Axel Hargraves. This is Lieutenant Major Axel Hargraves of the Military Intelligence Corps with an urgent radio broadcast to the people. Society has crumbled. The great nations of the world are rubble and dust. Violence will reign. Hold close your loved ones. God has abandoned us. Gunshot. This is Lieutenant Major Axel Hargraves of the Military Intelligence Corps with an urgent radio broadcast to the people. Society has crumbled. The great nations of the world are rubble and dust. Violence will reign. Hold close your loved ones. God has abandoned us. Gunshot. This is Lieutenant Major Axel Hargraves of the Military Intelligence Corps with an urgent radio broadcast to the people. Society has crumbled. The great nations of the world are rubble and dust. Violence will reign. Hold close your loved ones. God has abandoned us. Gunshot. This is Lieutenant Major Axel Hargraves of the Military Intelligence. So, things have really gone down the rails over here, which then is really interesting because we now have to go back and look at some of the past. So thank you for watching. We're going to take a look at more of this past and reveal a little bit of some of the things going on in 1999, or even here it says kind of around 2002. So again, realize this is early access, so I don't know if those dates are supposed to match or not. But we're going to look at the past here and see what we can discover here in Asbury Pines. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're liking this type of content, and we will see you again next time. Bye for now.